We've all seen it, people picking on someone who can't fight back, laughing like it's a game. And we tell ourselves it's not our business, as long as we're not the ones getting hurt. At that little cafe, the laughter started small. Two men leaned over a young waitress's tray, their voices dripping with mockery. Then one of them spat right into a plate of food, and the whole table burst out laughing. The girl just stood there, eyes glistening, her dignity crumbling in front of strangers. Everyone pretended not to see, everyone except one man. He didn't say a word. He just set his cup down, slowly stood up, and by the time the bullies turned around, they realized they just crossed the wrong line. Before we continue, if you've been here before, you know these stories aren't just about Jasonstatham. They're about the moments that test who we really are when no one else steps in. And if you're new here, welcome. Stick around because what happens next isn't about revenge, it's about respect, and the quiet kind of strength that changes everything. The evening rush always carried a rhythm, orders called out, laughter bouncing off tile, the faint hiss of the coffee machine that never quite rested. To most people, it was background noise. To Anna, it was a heartbeat, familiar, exhausting, and somehow comforting. She'd been working double shifts at the small diner for months now. Her mother's medical bills didn't care how tired she was. The job wasn't glamorous, but it was honest. People needed to eat, and someone had to serve them. Most nights she didn't mind. The regulars were kind, truck drivers who tipped with change and gratitude, college kids who apologized when they spilled, parents who told her she reminded them of their daughters. But every so often, the night brought a different kind of customer, the kind that made kindness feel like weakness. It was around 8 p.m. when they walked in. Three of them, mid-30s, overdressed for the diner, loud enough to fill the room before they even sat down. They carried that careless arrogance people get when the world's always let them off easy. Anna noticed them immediately, like everyone else did. She smiled the way she always did, professional, soft, safe. "Evening, gentlemen, what can I get you?" The one in the middle, slick hair, smug eyes, grinned. "Well, ain't that service," with a smile. His friends laughed, too loud for the joke that wasn't funny. She pulled out her pad, pen poised. "The menu S on the table, sir. Take your time." "Oh, we already know what we want," he said, leaning forward. "A burger, medium rare, fries, and maybe your number." Anna's smile didn't flinch, just the burger and fries. The second man snorted. "Guess she's deaf. Add 2 more burgers, sweetheart. We'll start with beers." "Of course," she said quietly and walked away. Behind the counter, Raffi, the cook, caught her eye. He'd seen that kind before. "You want me to handle it?" he asked under his breath. She shook her head. "They're just drunk, it's fine." It wasn't fine, but in her world, fine was the word that kept peace. Across the room, near the window, a man in a dark jacket sat with a single coffee. He'd been there long before the bullies arrived, silent, still, a shadow that belonged to no one. He wasn't reading, wasn't on his phone, just watching. Not staring, watching, like someone who had once needed to notice danger early. The bullies' laughter grew louder. Anna delivered their beers with her practiced calm. "Here you go," she said. The tall one, the one in the middle, raised his glass. "Cheers to good service." He winked at her and took a long drink. Then he turned to his friends, loud enough for the whole room. "You know, waitresses like her act like they're too good to talk to us, but the minute tips are involved," he smirked. "Different story, eh?" Anna ignored it, stepping back, but her chest tightened. They made sure she could still hear them. "Look at her, thinks she's better than us." "Maybe she's shy," another said mockingly. "Maybe she wants someone to loosen her up." Someone at the next booth muttered, "Cut it out." But no one looked directly at them. People rarely do. When the food came out, Anna carried the tray like a tightrope walker. She set each plate down with the same gentle precision she always used. "Here you go. Enjoy your meal." "Hold up," the leader said. He lifted his burger bun, frowned dramatically. "What's this?" "Sir, looks like it's missing something." He looked up at her, eyes glinting. Then, slow enough for everyone to see, he spat on the burger. A sound left the room, a collective, silent intake of breath. He smirked. "They're perfect, now it's seasoned." Anna froze. The tray slipped a little in her grip. Heat climbed up her neck, her throat burned, but she stayed still. She learned that stillness was sometimes the only armor. A whisper rippled through the diner, someone gasped, someone else looked away. The man leaned back, pleased with himself. "What, you gonna cry about it?" Her mouth opened, but no words came. She just stood there, staring at the plate, feeling the laughter start behind her like a wave. "Come on, it's a joke," he said, spreading his arms. "You know what a joke is, don't you?" No one laughed this time. The silence in the diner thickened, the kind that makes sound feel disrespectful. At the corner, Jason's cup hit the saucer, soft but deliberate. He didn't move yet. His eyes followed the moment like a fuse. He'd seen humiliation before, the kind that breaks people quietly. He told himself to stay seated. Not every fight needed fists, but then the man spoke again. "Clean it up, sweetheart," the bully sneered. "It's your job." That did it. Anna swallowed, trembling. She reached for the plate, but before she could, he grabbed her wrist, not hard, but enough to make her flinch. "Careful," he said. "Don't drop it, you'll have to lick it off the floor next." And that's when Jasonstatham stood up. It wasn't dramatic. There was no clatter, no announcement. Just a quiet, deliberate movement, a man deciding something had gone too far. Every eye followed the shift in the air. He stepped closer, slow but certain, his voice carried without raising. "Let go of her." The bully turned, half smiling. "Who's asking?" Jason's gaze didn't waver. "I am." The man chuckled. "And who the hell are you supposed to be?" Jason didn't answer. He didn't need to. The silence he carried filled the space better than any name could. He looked at Anna. "You all right?" Her lips parted, her voice barely a whisper. "I'm fine." But she was. The bully snorted. "This some kind of chivalry act? What are you, her boyfriend?" Jason blinked slowly. "Just someone who doesn't like seeing people treated like trash." "Oh, you do like it," the man said mockingly. "Then maybe you should eat it yourself." He shoved the plate toward Jason. It skidded, fries scattering across the table, a smear of ketchup marking the wood. Jason's hand caught it before it fell. He set it down gently. "You're done," he said. The words landed like a stone dropped in water. No noise, just impact. The bully laughed, glancing at his friends for backup. "Oh, I'm done. You gonna make me leave?" Jason didn't move. "That's right." One of the others stood, puffing his chest. "You think you can take all of us, old man?" Jason's tone didn't change. "I don't need to." That quiet confidence, it wasn't bravado. It was something that made even the cook behind the counter stop breathing. The bully smirked, but his eyes twitched, a flicker of uncertainty. "You're crazy." Jason tilted his head slightly. "No, just tired of people like you thinking you can do whatever you want." The man's laughter cracked. "You don't scare me." Jason's voice dropped. "Then you're not paying attention." The bully's smirk faltered. "You know this ain't your business." Jason stepped closer, just enough for the man to feel the presence of something he didn't understand: discipline, control, quiet threat. "It became my business the moment you touched her." The man looked at his friends, searching for approval, for someone to laugh again and make this less real. But none did. Even they could feel it now, the shift, the wrongness of where things had gone. The cook whispered, "Jason, don't." But Jason wasn't listening to anyone anymore. His focus had narrowed to the man in front of him. The bully straightened, lifting his chin. "All right, hero, what are you gonna do? Punch me?" Jason's jaw tightened once. "No," he leaned forward slightly. "I'm going to give you a chance to walk out of here, and make it the smartest thing you've done all week." The man hesitated. The silence stretched too long. His pride couldn't stand it. He lunged forward, grabbing Jason by the collar. The motion was fast, fueled by alcohol and insecurity. Jason didn't flinch. He caught the man's wrist mid-grab and twisted, a clean, efficient motion that made the man drop to his knees before his mind even caught up. The café gasped. Jason didn't hit him, didn't shout. He simply leaned in close enough for the man to hear him whisper, "You're done." The man's breath stuttered. Jason released him and stepped back. The bully stumbled up, red-faced and shaking with anger he didn't know where to put. "You think this is over?" Jason's eyes softened, and that somehow made it worse. It could have been. He turned to Anna, who stood frozen near the counter. "You okay?" Her voice cracked. "Yes, I think so." Jason nodded once. Go on, take a break. She hesitated. What about? He cut her off gently. Don't worry about them. For a moment, it looked like the bullies might try again, the twitch of a jaw, the flare of pride. But something about Jason's calm made the idea dissolve before it reached their muscles. They gathered their coats, muttering curses that didn't land. Jason stepped aside, giving them room because sometimes stepping aside is scarier than blocking the way. When they reached the door, the leader turned, his voice cracking with forced confidence. You'll regret that. Jason looked at him, not smiling. Not likely. The door slammed behind them. The room stayed quiet for a long moment, a silence of shared disbelief, of tension draining. The cook exhaled. You could have broken him. Jason shook his head. Wouldn't have fixed anything. Anna appeared beside the counter, holding a towel she didn't need. Her eyes shimmered with something between relief and shock. Thank you, she whispered. Jason looked at her for a long second, the edges of his expression softening. You don't thank people for doing what's right. Outside, headlights swept past, flashing across the window. The street was quiet now, but the night didn't feel finished. Not yet. Because when Jason stepped outside to clear his head, he noticed something, the same car that had been parked across the street since before the incident. Engine idling, lights off. A figure in the passenger seat was on a phone, speaking hurriedly. The driver's eyes were fixed on the diner. Jason frowned. Something in his gut shifted. He turned back toward the glass, saw Anna clearing the table, her hands trembling slightly. And that's when the car door opened. Jason's eyes narrowed. Something told him this wasn't over. The car engine purred low, its headlights off but its presence loud in Jason's gut. He'd heard that sound too many times, a running engine that wasn't waiting but watching. Inside the diner, Anna was still shaking. She'd gone to the counter to clean the mess, trying to steady her breathing, pretending the tremor in her hands was from the cold. But she wasn't fooling anyone. Raffi stayed close, silently guarding her from behind the counter like a father bird with one good wing left. Outside, Jason moved to the curb, pretending to check his phone. His reflection in the glass showed him the men inside the car, one in the driver's seat, another in the passenger's, both shifting like they couldn't decide if they wanted to move yet. Then a third figure sat up in the backseat. The tall one, the same man who'd spat on the plate. He was talking fast, angry, wounded pride twisting his face into something uglier than before. Jason could read the movement of his lips. He touched me. He'll pay for that. Jason's jaw tightened. He turned back toward the diner door, opened it quietly. Raffi, he said, his tone calm but carved from stone. Lock the door. Raffi blinked. What? Lock it, Jason repeated. Now. Something in his voice left no room for argument. The lock clicked. Anna looked up confused. What's wrong? Jason's eyes stayed on the street. You've got 3 men out there who think they're coming back for round 2. Her face went pale. Oh my God. He shook his head slightly. You don't need to be afraid, but you do need to stay behind the counter. Understand? She nodded, trembling. Jason glanced once more at the glass. The engine outside revved, a challenge. He could almost hear the words before they came, let's see who stops us now. He sighed, rubbing a hand over his face. He de-promised himself he was done with this kind of night. But some things don't ask for permission. They find you anyway. The car doors opened. 3 shadows stepped into the glow of the diner lights. They thought the glass between them and Jason was protection. It was. Jason stepped forward, unbuttoning his jacket slowly. Stay where you are, he told Anna without looking back. The door handle shook once, then twice. Open up, a voice barked, muffled, furious. We're not finished. Jason walked closer, each step quiet but deliberate, the kind of steps that meant control. He stopped just a few feet from the door. You are, he said evenly through the glass. The tall man's face twisted. You don't tell me when I'm done. Then listen carefully, Jason said, his tone lowering. You've already told the world what you are. Don't make me show it to you. The man laughed. You think you scare me. You hit me when I wasn't ready. Now step outside. Jason's gaze flicked once to the reflection, saw the glint of something metallic in one man's hand. A wrench. Not a gun, but bad enough. He exhaled, eyes calm. You really want to do this? The man smirked. Open the door and find out. Jason gave him one last look. All right. The lock clicked. The diner went silent. Rafi whispered, Jason, but it was too late. The door swung open. Cold air rushed in. The bullies stepped forward, swaggering, pretending courage while adrenaline made their voices too loud. The tall man jabbed a finger at Jason's chest. You humiliated me. Jason didn't blink. You did that yourself. You think you're better than me, the man spat. Jason's reply came soft, almost regretful. No, just quieter. The wrench swung. Jason stepped aside, fluid, controlled, a movement learned from years of knowing where pain would come from. The metal sliced through empty air. Before the man could turn, Jason's hand closed around his wrist, twisted, and disarmed him in a motion so quick it looked like choreography. The wrench hit the ground, bouncing once. The man yelped, knees buckling. Jason let him fall but didn't strike. His voice stayed calm. Walk away. The second man lunged, bigger, heavier, faster only because rage makes fools quick. Jason ducked, caught his elbow and redirected his own weight against him. The man stumbled into the wall, crashing through a metal chair. The last one froze. His breath came shallow. He looked at Jason, then at his fallen friends. We didn't mean to. Jason raised a hand, stopping him mid-sentence. You came here to scare people. Congratulations. You just scared yourselves. He stepped forward. Now you're going to do something useful. You're going to go out there, call the police, and tell them exactly what you did inside this diner. The man blinked. You're crazy. Jason leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a whisper. Try me. The man's throat worked. Then he nodded a small, broken gesture and scrambled back toward the car. The tall man still sat on the ground, clutching his wrist, face pale. Jason looked down at him. That girl you spat on, she's worth 10 of you. The man sneered weakly. You think this changes anything? Jason straightened. No, but it'll make you think twice next time. He turned to walk back inside. The sound of a siren echoed in the distance, faint but growing. Jason stopped for a moment, breathing out. He hated how familiar that sound felt. Inside, Anna stood frozen behind the counter. When he re-entered, she exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for hours. Are they gone? Jason nodded. They will be. Her eyes glistened. You didn't have to do that. Yeah, he said quietly. I did. Rafi walked over, rubbing a towel over his hands like he didn't know what else to do. You're lucky they didn't have guns. Jason gave a small shrug. Luck had nothing to do with it. For a while, nobody spoke. The only sound was the siren fading into distance. Anna broke the silence first. People like that, they think they own the world. Jason looked at her, only because most people let them. She smiled faintly, the kind that comes after surviving something ugly. I don't even know your name. Doesn't matter, he said. She hesitated, then whispered, thank you. Jason gave a faint nod. Keep your head high, Anna. Never lower it for people who don't deserve to see your eyes. He turned to leave. Wait, she said. You didn't even finish your coffee. He stopped, glanced back with a ghost of a grin. It's cold now. She smiled for real this time, the first honest one of the night. Still worth the tip, though. He paused at the door. You earned it. Then he stepped outside into the night. The street was quiet again, no car, no voices, just the soft whisper of wind through the narrow street. Jason looked both ways, then pulled his jacket tighter. He'd seen this pattern before. People who use power like a weapon, others too afraid to stop them. It wasn't new. But tonight, in that small diner, maybe a few people had learned what real strength looked like, quiet, calm, unspoken. As he walked away, headlights washed over him briefly, a police car turning onto the street. He didn't stop, didn't need to explain. The truth was already inside, wiping tables, breathing easier. The night swallowed his footsteps. And behind him, through the glass, Anna watched him go, a stranger who reminded her that sometimes the world still had protectors. That some heroes don't wear capes. They just drink cold coffee. And stand up when no one else will.